Welcome back to Lone Oak Farm 17 for episode 38 with me, MrSealyp. You know when you have one of those days where you just wish everything would go a lot better than it has? It's 7:57. I got up at 6 in game. I had yesterday off, as I said I was going to, and I decided I would do a few jobs. There's no jobs in the job sheet to do. We are in mid-spring and we do still have snow on the ground, which is causing me a few issues. As you can see, top right hand corner, the frozen ground symbol's not there because I'm using the Northwest Oregon Geo. I'm encountering things I haven't encountered before. Normally the frozen ground symbol's on, the snow clears, the frozen ground symbol goes, and off I go with whatever I need to do, field work, etc. Now technically I can do field work now, but there's still snow over some of the ground, so it's a bit of an odd one. This is an unusual episode, an unusual start to an episode, because you'll be thinking, okay, we've jumped and MrSealyp's now got a weeder on the back and it's cloudy and horrible and it's nearly 8 o'clock in the morning. What happened to the big chunk between 6 and 8? Well, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do like a Quentin Tarantino flashback. Not intentionally, by the way. I don't think I'm a filmmaker on the same scale as Quentin Tarantino or anyone that's ever done flashback filming or editing or anything like that. This is what happened. I was working on another project yesterday. I didn't put up a video yesterday. I was working on another project, and that took way longer than I thought it was going to. I reset my timer, in my recording settings, down to 3 minutes to do smaller chunks of editing. I normally do it in 10-minute chunks. I came back in to record this episode today and I didn't reset the setting. So I was happily talking away and videoing, thinking I was doing 10-minute blocks. When I came to edit, I'd only recorded in 3-minute chunks, which meant 7 minutes of each session that I thought I'd done isn't there. So what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to jump back to earlier. We have sprayed field 1. We have loaded some wool pallets onto a trailer because the wool's picking up. I bought a pallet fork for the telehandler. I bought a couple of fields over by the by the sheep farm. I bought a couple of fields over here, and I talked about all of that in my usual eloquent style, and it didn't record any of it. I've got a couple of little chunks. So what we're going to do now, the weeder was because I was going to weed one of the fields that we just bought, but it didn't work, so I'm going to put this away. While I'm putting this away, we're going to go to a flashback back to a time before, a simpler time, a happier time. These things happen. It's one of those things. Not a lot I can do about it. So, flashback time. I'm really impressed how quickly these animals are reproducing and then producing whatever it is they're supposed to be producing. It's going rather well, I have to say. At least it was. Oh, there we go. Just hadn't come down far enough. Cool, let's get this last one on. And then we'll go over. I've taken the sprayer, the front boom sprayer, over to field 34. We'll have a look at the price of that, maybe spray that. We'll also go over to field 40. I've forgotten the number again. Is it 43? That sticks in my head for some reason. So there'll be a couple more of the jobs done. Buying fields was on that list. Oh, that reminds me actually, while we're here, a couple of things to do with buying, or buying and selling. Just there in front of us, we'll whiz around and have a look at it in a second, is the excavator that I bought for doing some of the forestry work. I did say if I couldn't think of another use for it, it might be up for sale. It is up for sale. Anyone interested in buying the excavator? Don't go mad. I don't want people messaging me saying I'll offer you $1 million. If you are interested, let me know. If there are a lot of you, I might have to just pick a name out of a hat who's going to be the lucky recipient, and that is just in game. That's not, I can't actually send you the excavator. So before anyone starts messaging me and asking how am I going to send it to them, it's just kind of an in-game thing. Oh, it's a lot of straps. That one just misses. Okay, well they're strapped down. Brilliant. So wait for some more and we'll get that sorted. Yeah, so if I go around the side of here, jump the fence. Because I can't see myself doing any more forestry now. So I don't think I'm going to use it. But we've got the excavator with the log grab, or grab, whatever you want to call it. I think all in that was about 100,000. I'll let it go for, I don't know, 60, 70, I don't know. I haven't reused it very much, to be honest with you, so like I say, if anyone's interested, let me know. Hop the fence. Yeah, we own field 24, and we've got field 22 directly in front of us, and we've got field 23 just there. What I'm thinking of doing is buying them both and grassing them and just having this as one huge grass pasture that we can sort anything out. I could put crops in it, but I'm just think, why not? Let's have a look. How much is it? 26,000. We'll buy that. And how much is this one over here? Probably not very much. 8,255. We'll buy that as well. So what I'll do is we'll come in. They'll probably need to be ploughed first. Just do they need to be, or can I just grass seed them? What are they on at the moment? Let's have a look, shall we? Field 22 and 23, which are just there. At the moment, we've got. Oh, they're actually seeded, both of them. Okay, that wasn't expected. We've got canola and we've got a bit of wheat. Now, do I plough that in and grass them, or do I go for the crops? You know what, I might plough it in and then that'll be or cultivate it in. I might cultivate it in and that'll be a fertilising state, won't it? It'll be like a cover crop. I wonder if that'll work through the snow. We might have to try that as well at some point. But anyway, right, I need to get over to field 34. So I'll see you over there in a minute. I'll put the telehandler back. We need to clear the feed area because with so many sheep now, they're making a mess fairly quickly. So I'll put the pallet forks down. So like I said before, it's funny how you go through certain periods, different points in the year, where you've run out of jobs to do and you're struggling to find something to do. And not, you don't get bored with it, but it's like, you know, you just think, I'm just trying to fish around for things to do now. And then you get to another period and you think, okay, I've got so much stuff to do now. And you kind of, your enthusiasm for it all returns, and you have lots of jobs to do. And I like that. I like the Upper Lusatia map at the moment because it's far more easygoing, relaxed. I'm just doing what I want when I want. But I do like that kind of. There is something about the frenzy of going from job to job, and you know, your mind racing about what you're going to do and when. But anyway, so that's all good. Let's get over and sort out buying another couple of fields, shall we? Flashback over. When I left you, I was walking that way in the flashback moment. So here we are at the sheep farm, and the pallets are loaded up. The pallet forks are on the telehandler. We have bought field 22 and 23, which I am going to cultivate in, hopefully. So all sorts of things have changed. It's all very exciting. I apologise for, you know, I managed to recover what I could from the 3-minute bursts I had, but it wasn't perfect, and I can't really do very much more about that. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Now, the sheep situation and the contract we've got for Eric. I've mentioned it a couple of times, and here's the situation. Eric messaged me a while back, and he asked me for some wool. Because he's got a situation. I might have mentioned it quite a while ago, but I'm going to go into a bit more detail. This is the message that was sent to me. Hello from southern Oregon coast, Pacific Inlet area. My name is Eric Belsinger, and I've got myself into a bit of a conundrum. My wife started a yarn company a few years ago, so naturally myself and kids work on in the shop, and she's away at the moment on a much needed vacation. So I have some of the guys from my logging company helping out in the shop. We were in the process of spinning yarn when I looked over to see bright orange dye flying everywhere. One of my guys fell and the dye cans went over. So now our entire stock of wool and most of the yarn is now construction cone orange. I've yet to tell my wife about our mishap. After extensive research, I found you are hands down the best quality wool in the business, and I was hoping you may be able to fit in an emergency order of 11,000 litres. Well, we've got 8,000 litres already on here. We've got more on the go. We should be able to fulfil 11,000 litres, no problem whatsoever. That will all go up to the wool sell point. Whatever I make is whatever I make, which is fantastic. It says he can sweeten the deal. Small logging company can offer me some old growth myrtle wood, which is a species of tree that grows here in Oregon. It makes amazing furniture and flooring. The cherry on top of the deal is an open invitation for the whole family, even farm dog, to come out to the inlet and enjoy what it has to offer. Wildlife, seafood, trail riding, and some of the best craft breweries in the country, in my opinion. That's Eric's opinion, not obviously my opinion. Don't worry about plane tickets or hotel, I have that covered. It does say here, don't mention this to my wife, she will never let me live this one down. My hands are bright orange. So yeah. Very good. So that's what we're doing over here. The wool contract will be going off for Eric as soon as we've got enough, or we might just fill the trailer and then 11,000 litres of it will be for Eric and the rest will just go to be sold. The guys up at the wool sell point will then obviously transport it on to Eric. I went to collect this trailer from the barn where the wedding happened. The wedding was a white wedding. It was wonderful. Everyone had a lovely day. They did use covers to put over the grass bales so no one got grass stains on their clothing. But I took the telehandler there, and the telehandler wouldn't hook up to that trailer, obviously. I completely forgot. So I whizzed over, got the Julie, went and picked up the trailer and brought that over here. That was all recorded, and it was all, you know, lost. Oh. Anyway, not to worry. So we're going to get back over to field 34 now. And we'll try this all again. Okay, so I'm heading off now to field 34. That's what we're going to do. I'll see you over there in a minute. I'm just going to clean up the feed area because I think there's more grass on the floor, more feed. So I'll do that. I'll see you over at the field in a minute. Wonders will never cease. I'm in the middle of... I say in the middle of... I've completely lost my bearings because everything is white. Let's get the map on. Field 49, I shouldn't be in field 49. The worker was set to do field 43, which is over here. But in the usual scheme of things, it's jumped the boundary. Hang on. Yep, I'm in the right place. It's jumped the boundary and decided, you know what? A good field to do would be field 49. So if we look here in the map and we zoom in, what it's done, which it shouldn't have done, it's gone from field 43, so it's fertiliser sprayed on that. It's jumped the boundary and it's done a big chunk of field 49, which wasn't intentional, but at the end of the day, I guess it helps. It's done a big chunk of field 44 as well, actually a load of field 44. So what I've got to do now is refill it and go to field 34 to spray that, because the weeder wouldn't work. And I think the weeder wouldn't work because it's got snow on the ground, so it wasn't registering there was a crop there. There is a crop there in its first growth stage. You can see where it's gone up and down the field here. And then I think what it's done is it's got to the end. Let's follow the tracks and see what it's done. It's done all of this field 43, which is what it's supposed to do. It's got to the end here to finish, and it's gone down here by the look of it. Yeah, it's gone down here. Yeah, there you go. Then it's got to the end here, crossed over onto that field, and it's gone up and down on that one. Brilliant. So let's go over to the farm. Let's refill this. So the money has gone down massively because I've bought field 22, field 23, field 43, field 34. So yeah, big chunk of the money down, but that was the whole point. We were going to buy some fields. I need to refill this sprayer very quickly. Now we have a couple of other contracts. There's a field 53, which we have a contract for Al. It's a bit of a weird one. We'll come on to that later on, not in this episode. We've got a contract for Gary at 6 Pistons Ranch, who needs 45,000 litres of barley. That's why I bought that barley field. We do have a load of barley in store. That's going to be for pig feed, because I think he's probably going to want fresher barley rather than old stuff that's been in storage for a while. We'll keep that for pig feed and we'll give him some more. Let's fill this up. Okay. There we go. But we this season are going to have to do a load of soy. I've got contracts for Giovanni, I think it's, or Giuseppe, in Italy for 100,000 litres. I've got my ongoing contract from last year with Scott for 120,000 litres. I've got Stuart wants 80,000 litres and Phil wants 150,000 litres. That's a lot of soybean. So we're going to be turning over a lot of the farm to soybean for this season. I'm still going to do, there's obviously the oilseed rape canola in field 43 we've just bought. There's barley in field 34 that we've just bought. I'm going to do a big field of corn because we need a big load of corn for feeding the pigs. That's a big chunk of their feed is corn. So we need another big field of corn. We might run some sunflowers. We're definitely going to do an orchard for cadet mowing. I've got mowing contracts and an orchard contract for those guys. Now what I am doing as well is over here on field 34 excuse me, is it left all of this last year because this was an AI field. Because it was an AI field, it ran through its cycle, and the AI fields generally speaking have a little border it leaves on the side. You probably noticed if you're doing the in-game contracts and missions, there's normally like a blank bit on the side. Well, this has perished and it's just left there. So what I did was leased this, the quali disc, and I've done a strip around 3 sides. That I recorded as well, but I've probably lost that too. And what I've done is just basically taken out all of this perished stuff that's no good. It hasn't affected the crop in the middle of the field, that's fine. Farm dogs loving it. Bear with me a second. Good boy. Slow down, it's all good. It's okay. So before I was rudely interrupted. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is this last strip I've got to do we'll just get rid of this. It's just a bit unsightly and it will get in the way of the other crop. When we come to harvest, it will just be a pain. So what I'm going to do is start the engine, chop that down, run along the edge here. Once I get past, well, we might go past telegraph poles, that's hard worker. Yeah, we're good. I'll get a nice straight edge now. So yeah, we'll just get rid of all of that. The tractor's going to run over some of it, but it will just make sure all the stalks are gone out of the ground. And run that right the way along the edge. So, like I said before, it's been a very odd episode, this one, and I apologise for the... I mean, I don't know whether... The flashback bit might work okay. It was not my intention to do that originally. That's just the way it's worked out. I did come back in to try and re-record some of these bits, and it's been one of those days. But finally, we're getting some work done. It's incredibly cloudy, incredibly dull and murky. But that said, we are in spring. The leaves are back on the trees, which is quite nice, rather than all the kind of branches and stalks and the bareness we've been experiencing. Now, hopefully looking into... Actually, I'd better wait till I get to the end of the field. Otherwise, it's going to turn around and start cultivating in the crop. I don't want it to do that. So we'll get to the end here. And I don't want to do that. Right. So what we'll do very quickly is have a quick look in the map. And at fruit types and then growth. Yeah, so what you'll see now, hopefully, the growth of the field's fine. I haven't touched the crop. That's all still barley, that's still okay. For some reason that's still showing a little bit of something up that side. I need to whiz over and check that. So hopefully then when this all grows, it will all be fine. That's the plan. So this can go back, don't need this anymore. We'll get the bigger cultivator out. Or mind you, the bigger cultivator's massive. Well, actually it's fine, doesn't matter. What I might do is plough all the gaps in between the fields over on 24, 22 and 23, the two that I've just bought. Oh, I didn't tell you about the mistake, did I? Oh yeah. Before I disappear off. On the bit of recording I did earlier that's now missing, I need to run the fertiliser spreader. Actually what we'll do is we'll stop there. Yeah, I came over to buy field 34, which got barley in, because I've got a barley contract. I was going to buy a canola field, and I was going to buy 47, which is way over there. So I came over here in the snow, and came to the symbol for the field, and went on and bought it, without paying much attention, and realised I'd bought field 43 by mistake, which was canola. Have I mentioned this already? Can't remember. So I then bought 34 as well, which isn't a problem because I was going to buy a canola field anyway, so now we've got this one and this one. That's the plan. Now what I'm a bit puzzled about is this is supposedly on its first growth stage, but nothing's coming through the ground. Oh well, we'll have to see. Once the snow clears, we'll get into the next growth stage. I'm sure it'll be fine. So let's get this going. Get the worker rocking and rolling. I'm going to do a strip this way first because the telegraph poles, I don't want it trying to turn around and catching them. This is pretty good with the spray actually, it's quite economical. It's just a pity that it went onto another field and did all that as well, which really wasn't particularly helpful. But so let's have a get on, shall we? Even if it just goes side to side actually rather than up and down. Might as well just leave it, getting on with it. Brilliant, okay, so let's go and get the bigger cultivator and we'll get over to the other field. And we'll cultivate all of that in and then we can get the seeds out because I think we can do grass. Yeah, again it's not showing that it's the temperature's not right, but we are in the planting season for grass, so I think I might just seed it as well with grass over on field 22 and 23 and then we'll go from there. Maybe a bit of ploughing in between to make that one massive field for sheep and whatnot. So let's drop this off here. The guys from the store, Farmer Min's crew. Check him out, Farmer Min and the crew. There's loads of them, putting out loads of videos, loads of multiplayer stuff, loads of live streaming. Get over there, check it out. Farmer Min's in the process of doing the Grease Monkey challenge at the moment as well. So well worth a watch. Get over, check out his channel. It's the right thing to do. Right, I jumped in the Challenger, which we now own. Hooray! I thought the T9 might be a little bit overkill for this. It might not be, but it might be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Weber, which is in here. I'm going to put it on the front 3-point linkage just to get it over there, and then I'll stick the mine's on blank, the Bednar Swifter on the back. We'll get that over there so we can cultivate the fields, but then what I'll do is plough the gaps in between so we can make one massive field, and then at a later date we'll come in and we'll seed it. That won't be straight away. Is it over here? There it is. I never put it in here because it's a bit of a fiddly one for pulling. There we go. Trying to work out the quickest route. It's the best way to go. Actually, we go cross country, can't we? We can, and we shall. We'll probably seriously damage all of this on the way, but we should really go the roadway, but needs must and all that. Oh, this mist is doing my head in. I get it, it's cloudy, but see the shortcuts across other people's fields. It's alright when there's snow on the ground. I'll say it's alright, it probably still isn't alright. You can't just drive across people's fields just because there's snow on the ground. That was my defence, Your Honour. There was snow on the ground. I didn't think the farmer would mind me driving right across the middle of his field. Well, this is undulating. Never turned this into a golf course in the end of it. I thought, you know, it had all the look and feel of that. Anyway, let's try and pick a way through and we'll get there in a moment. I came around this way actually, so rather than going around that side of the sheep farm and up past the silo, I've come around this way because I cleared all the trees, well pretty much everything. So now I'm at this end of field 23. Look on the map, just in the bottom. Yeah, so at this end of field 23, and we're going to head north, up 23, onto 22, and then back down, and we'll clear all of it. So that's what we're doing now. Let's open this up. Should be straight. Didn't like. What? That does not like being opened up at an angle, does it? So let's spin ourselves around. Try and get level, drop it down. And there we go, gets rid of the snow. Cultivating in whatever's there. And then we can seed that, we'll regrass everything. So we'll have a massive meadow out here for any grass work we should need for a while. Because we've stocked up so much of it in last year, really we just need to top off the tanks. Really, we don't need to redo everything. We haven't used everything. We haven't used all the straw, we haven't used all the hay, we haven't used all the grass, so there won't be that massive need for huge amounts of it this year. So this should just be enough now for topping off. We won't really need loads more. At least, well, that's the plan anyway. The grass will take a little while to grow, but we should be alright. Try and get that around without hitting the fence if I can. I honestly did consider when we said about buying this, paying for the Challenger from Jimmy at Agco, whether we could get away with getting a tracked one, but the deal we had was for this one. We had it for the year on the condition that we bought it, so it would have been a bit of a cheat to give this one back and say thank you for letting us have this for the year. Can we have a tracked one now? A new one that we haven't battered and damaged. Really would have been a bit of a cheat, so that's why we didn't. So it just does prove one thing to me anyway. If you haven't experienced it before, this having snow on the ground but the ground's not frozen, you can work the fields even though they've got snow on them. As long as the ground's not frozen, you can do whatever you need to. Yeah, I'm going to plough those gaps out, I think. And then I'll come back with the cultivator. I just need to see where they are first before I do anything else. So the track here to the left, I think there's one that runs across east-west towards the sheep farm at the end of this one, at the end of field 22, so I'll plough those out. Not on the edge, pretty much. I'll just go back over with the cultivator. So then when we grass it, the grass will go right up and, you know, it'll meet everywhere. Right. No, I don't want to plough. What's the plough doing? What? Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, it's because I've got a plough on the front. Okay, so I won't be able to set worker. I shall continue myself. That was close. New side plough. I mean, there's no point me ploughing the grass, in all honesty, because when it runs through its cycles, if I give it a couple of fertilising states, I'll get a much higher yield than I would have done just off normal grass anywhere else. So it really isn't worth it for that extra 10%. It's not going to gain me very much. Actually, what we'll do before I carry on, let's check the old monitor. So they're now showing as cultivated. Has that affected the soil composition? No ploughing state, obviously. No, that's weird. Is it because they haven't... Oh, I know. That's what I was saying wrong. Growth, that's showing as seeded. That's not in its first growth stage yet, is it? When it goes slightly darker, it's in the next growth stage. When you've got shoots in the ground, you can see the shoots. So that's just showing us, that's why it's not giving me a fertilising state, because technically under that snow, there's not actually a shoot. It's just seeded. That explains why the weeder wouldn't work over on field 34 as well. Because underneath the snow, there wasn't anything to weed. It had just been seeded. It hasn't actually got shoots yet. Oh well. Never mind. So what we'll do is complete this. Do the rest of this bit off screen, I think, and then we'll. I'll come back to you in a minute when I'll get the plough in the ground and plough these gaps in between. I need to come over a little bit. The tractor doesn't seem to want to move in the snow. There we go. Put the cruise control on, and I'll see you in a minute. Cultivating is done. So what I'm going to do now, I've allowed it to create fields, I think. If I drop that down and go straight across here. Yep, that's working. To about there. It doesn't matter if I go over the edge of this field at all, to be fair, because I'm going to reseed anyway. It's all going to be grass, so it doesn't really matter. Drop that down. Right side of here. So all I'm going to do now is just plough out these tracks, recultivate, got to be careful because this grass field to the left of me is a field that you can use. So it has a boundary and it has, I think it has a bit in the middle. That when I use the cultivator, but again, if I go over any of it, it really doesn't matter with the cultivator either, because I'll just reseed over it. So really, it doesn't matter. It's only if I was going next to a field that's got crops in or something like that with the plough and the cultivator, I'd have to be a little bit more careful, because I'm going to be grassing it all anyway. It doesn't have to be as perfect. I'll go right down to the end there, right by the sheep pen too. But I'll go around this side first. Yeah, I went over a little bit there with the cultivator, as you can see. Like I say, not a problem. Shouldn't really have turned the corner with the plough. Would have damaged the tines, but or chisels or whatever it is. However you refer to them. So this plough and the case, what was it called? Eco-till? Considering they came very late in FS17, they're both brilliant ploughs. Really, really good. It's a pity we didn't get them like really early on, because I like them. I like these squared off ones. I think, and this again, this is a general statement. This is not necessarily, you know, because I know people will say to me, no, actually we use, like I said before, the drag behind ploughs like these types are the types I've seen in the UK more than anything, in all honesty. When you see ploughing being done, it's being done by these types of ploughs with mould boards, etc. These types, yeah, the Ecolo-till, which are more like chisel ploughs. I've watched quite a few YouTube videos online of farmers all over the place. A lot of the American farmers tend to use the chisel ploughs. I know on Welker farms they do, on Millennial Farmer, there's a few others. So I don't know whether that's a kind of more, this is a more European style plough, or whether they're using these types as well now in Europe and the UK. You know, it's just different ways of accomplishing the same task really. Further. Just run across that bit. That's actually going all right. Nice. So after the initial kind of the debacle, the mistake, and then the flashback, and we kind of got back on track, getting some field work done again, some proper farming, not just wood chipping or logging or anything like that. But those are the winter jobs, the things that I had to do because there wasn't really much else I could do. The sheep are producing, the pigs are reproducing again, and we are now getting back into that point where we can seed, cultivate, prep, get our fields ready. So, I think with this last little strip down here, I will then get the cultivator back out and I'll do this. We have come to the end of another episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, hit that thumbs up, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.